You already know the exhaustion of being stuck in a thought loop. The same fears, the same doubts, replaying on a loop while the hours tick by, draining your energy before the day even begins. We usually treat that kind of mental repetition as a personal failing, but if you step back, running the same anxieties over and over without resolution is actually a system failure. Your brain is trying to process a problem, getting stuck, and rebooting. To fix a system failure, you need an external mechanism to catch the error. That is where large language models become highly practical. Beyond writing emails or summarizing documents, their highest leverage use case is acting as an objective, tireless mirror for your own cognitive blind spots. I know using AI for mental clarity sounds clinical, or maybe even a little dystopian if you are used to a leather-bound journal and a quiet room, but we are going to look at 3 specific AI setups. Depending on the exact mental friction point you are facing right now, you can deploy one of these today to break the cycle. The reason standard wellness routines fail most of us is the return on investment. You sit down with a blank notebook, try to write your way out of a mental fog, get bored or frustrated, and abandon the habit entirely by Thursday. We can measure why this happens by looking at this effort versus clarity framework. Any mental habit you build has to survive on this chart. Traditional journaling often lands right here. It requires high effort to generate the structure yourself and frequently yields low clarity because you are still trapped inside your own perspective. When we map our AI-assisted tools, the math changes. You lower the mechanical effort of structuring your thoughts while increasing the clarity by forcing an external perspective to organize the data for you. Gaining that structural advantage requires a strict trade-off. You have to learn precise prompting, and you have to accept the reality of sharing personal context with a machine. Treating your mental clarity as a measurable, engineered system is the most reliable way to break a long-term loop. Let's look at how to route your specific problem, starting with the most acute scenario. It's 2 a.m., your thoughts are racing, and calling a friend or professional is entirely off the table. If we follow our decision flowchart down the path for 2 a.m. race thoughts, we land on specialized apps like Woebot or Wysa. The input is incredibly low friction. When the spiral starts, you open the app and send a text dumping exactly what you are worried about into the chat. These bots deploy structured cognitive behavioral therapy techniques to de-escalate anxiety in real time, providing an objective framework when you need it most. Instead of letting you vent endlessly, they prompt you to identify the specific cognitive distortions. Are you catastrophizing? Or mind reading, which interrupts the panic cycle? You have to accept the limits here. This is surface-level scaffolding designed for acute symptom management. It does not replace deep human trauma therapy. But stopping a localized panic loop at 2 a.m. means you actually get to sleep. That is a massive return on investment that protects your baseline energy for the entire next day. Once you have your acute symptoms managed, you run into a broader friction point, the invisible structural flaws in your daily thinking that you are too close to notice. Going back to our routing framework, the need to identify unseen patterns points us directly to general LLMs like Claude or ChatGPT. Your input here is a messy, unedited brain dump. You type or dictate out everything that happened in your day, all your frustrations and all your reactions, without worrying about grammar or structure. The critical step is the prompt. You command the AI, review this entry. What structural flaws or recurring patterns do you see in how I am thinking? The output forces a hard pause. The AI will mirror back your own logic, pointing out that you consistently assume the worst intent from a specific coworker, or that your stress spikes exactly when your schedule loses structure. The trade-off for this level of insight is extreme vulnerability. You are surrendering your raw diary data to a tech company's servers, which requires a conscious decision about your privacy boundaries. For the person trying to optimize their daily performance, uncovering a hidden negative loop that has been dragging you down for months is usually worth the friction of that privacy exchange. The final friction point happens when you actually build a healthy habit, but static repetition kills it. Generic gratitude journals are the prime example. To solve boring or abandoned habits, our framework routes us to dynamic gratitude prompts. Answering "What are you thankful for today?" gets old fast. Your brain learns the pattern, goes on autopilot, and you stop feeling any actual benefit. To fix this, you prompt the AI every morning with a brief summary of your current life context and ask it to generate 3 hyper-tailored gratitude questions specifically for you today. If you are launching a new project, it asks you to name one skill you've acquired in the last year that makes you capable of handling today's stress. That novelty forces your brain to actually engage, triggering the intended neurochemical dopamine response. You do take on a slight daily friction barrier here. You have to actively open an app and prompt an AI every morning, rather than just opening a pre-printed notebook on your nightstand. But taking on 10 seconds of technical friction prevents the macro failure of getting bored and dropping the habit entirely. The utility of an AI mirror depends entirely on the honesty of the data you provide. Its effectiveness scales with your personal effort. This synthesis matrix maps what you need based on reality. Overwhelmed? Choose Woebot for temporary scaffolding. Looking to break bad habits? Choose LLM journaling and accept the privacy exchange. Bored with routines? Choose dynamic prompts, accepting a daily barrier for engaging novelty. The true return on investment comes down to matching the tool to your exact problem, interacting with it honestly, and accepting its specific limitations. Stop passively consuming endless optimization videos on your screen. Pick one of these specific tools and actually deploy it tonight. Head down to the comments right now and tell me the exact thought loop or habit challenge you are going to test this on first. Clarity is an engineered system, not a matter of luck or temperament. Start building yours.